Frank Littler and Ken Grant. Come along to see how the mobile job's going. And Ken's the Wellington branch manager for mobile. Just happens that Mike, one of the partners in the Hayes and Eastwood business, is just checking on his fuel supply, mobile of course. And the administration manager is Frank there, the short of the two. Well, they're talking about the weather now, which is a great deal different from the weather we've had, but interested in a job, and these guys might be top men in the mobile business, but they're always interested in their customers. Just over the back, right alongside where the work's going on, is the present main trunk line. Here's a goods train going up, grinding its way around these sharp corners, many of which will be eliminated with this new electrification scheme. Wagons at the back. I tell them that so that I don't pull, I have the empty wagons at the back so they don't pull the trucks off the line or squash them up in the middle. Well, now we're on the tractor with John Cowan, who's driving the T6. Shift, steering clutches, forward shift. Backing up into the top four dump, stop the truck, pull the tipper lever, power up as well as power down on these tippers. Power shift on this loader. Power shift. 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 servicing area for the Hayes and Eastwood. Servicing right on a job. Back in reverse. Back into the digger. How long have you been working here then, Jeff?
I only just started last week.
Did you?
Yes. Come up to see what it was like. I left another earth moving firm.
Oh yeah. You've been on earth moving equipment all your life, so have you?
More or less, yeah.
What, have you been on diggers most of the time?
No, this is the first time.
Is that right? Oh, here we've got the truck. Here we've got one of the truck drivers, Grant, and John Cowan over the background there. Bart driving a D8L. Tony drives a D5. And our digger driver here, Dave. Smoker time is just twice a day, so they don't have too many hang-ups when the machine's not working. They've just got to be working all the time. And so it's 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock are the only two breaks during the 12-hour day. We have a discussion going on here about where the work's to go next. Don't know what that book's all about, John. The Dagwood. The trouble is with our man here, he likes to have a bit too much in his sandwiches, I reckon. Looks like a billy goat with 2 bags of flour in it to me. Well, now we're going around to the other side of the job. And we've got to cross over the main trunk railway line. Not sure whether it's us or the train, it slows down to 30 miles an hour. This is a part of the railway line that's going to be pretty good for a ute. Jumping this in the fuel tank over there. Pity help it if the train comes round just now.
Tanker trailer across the other side of the gully, and this is the access track through the creek.
Alright, just come in a bit closer, Mike. This particular track here is down underneath a viaduct, is it? And four-wheel drives only, is it?
Yes, that's correct. Yes. This will be the way we have to bring the D60 across too.
Oh, you'll have to walk the D6 right around this way. And will the D6 be the only machine you'll be using around on the other side of the valley?
Probably. It'll be pushing down to the drag line, which railways will be using to pull the dirt up the other side.
Not an awfully smooth crossing there, is it?
No, I imagine it'll be pretty rough in the winter too.
Yeah. Now that fuel tank on the back, that's from Mobil, is it? And that's to just solely for refueling the D6.
Yes, that's correct.
So Ken and Frank will be pretty pleased to see that tank go across there.
Yes, it's going to be a bit awkward keeping the fuel up to it. We'll have to do it probably every second day.
How many gallons is that one?
It's a 300-gallon tank.
Oh, yeah. Going to be a little bit harder. We should put the word on Ken and Frank for a motor to drive that instead of the handpiece on there.
That's on order. It should have been on it by now, but we haven't had the opportunity yet.
Over this railway line fairly quickly because trains could come across fairly nearly any time. And what's the name of that viaduct?
The viaduct we've just come underneath is the Tainui viaduct, and that'll be replaced by a new concrete viaduct.
Oh, that's the one you're actually doing the earthwork for, is it?
That's right, yes.
Pretty rugged sort of going in here. These are all tracks that the four-wheel drive has got to get through. because the independent front suspension helps it a great deal to get traction on uneven ground. This looks like the marker tape for the... This is a demarcation for the clearing for the tractors to come through. So this will all be cleared pretty shortly. This is real Nissan country 4x4. Only this sort of vehicle can get through this sort of country. And out in the clearing in the background there is the cutting where the machinery is working at the moment. Bridgestone tyres, Desert Duals, are a pretty important part of this job. Well, this is the sort of country that Mike and John are working in. It's been logged previously by logging contractors, and now they've got to cut through into here, and there's the D8 which will be helping to cut its way through, and then the drag line will take dirt from this side of the valley over the other side so the trucks can pick it up. This yellow ribbon here is the demarcation line where the clearing will have to take place, and it goes right through into here to mark the line, the boundaries of the line where they'll be logging to take the new deviation. And so we're now on the other side of the valley, and what are these pegs here for? What goes now?
We've got a series of benches that come down from the top here, Tim, for the bridge abutments, for the bridge to cross the gully here, and we'll move this earth out of these sections down into the valley floor on top of the culvert that we've got there, and that drag line that's up the other side will pull the material.
So this is all going to be stepped down here, is it?
Yeah, that's
and
correct.
The bridge abutments will actually be sitting just where we're standing now.
Yes, yes.
And the D6 will be over here pushing down into this creek or onto that culvert.
That's right.
And how many yards do they reckon, or how many cubic metres do they reckon of earth has got to come out of here?
There's round about 12 or 15,000 to come out of this side at this stage to allow the bridge abutments to go in, and that'll be all pushed down onto the floor there in the valley, and we'll use that drag line as a slack line to pull the material from the culverts back up to the platform where the D8's working, and we'll load it with an excavator onto the trucks from there and haul it around to the dump areas.
Tell me, John, why don't you use a motor scraper on this sort of work? There must be a reason.
There is, Tim. There's two reasons. One, because of the large boulders, and
the large boulders would get caught up in a scraper, I take it as.
Yes, it's not so bad loading them. It's actually ejecting the loads and getting it out in the dump area that's more of a problem. Also, the layers of ash are a fair sort of a hindrance with the motor scrapers trying to load the stuff. There's virtually no traction in it at all, even with a bulldozer. That's the reason we're using the excavator and truck operation.
And these 4x4 four-wheel drive DJBs are just the ideal thing. What sort of a gradient will they pull up, John?
We've actually pulled up a 1 and 4 gradient with them loaded. It's providing it's good traction and a fairly clean grade, they will pull up that grade.
Now we can see the D8L pushing there, John. Quite a few rocks in there. What's the weight of some of those rocks, would you think?
Well, probably those rocks would weigh up to a ton and a half, some of them.
Yeah.
We have had some of them out of there that's probably up around 3 or 4 ton, maybe even 5.
Is that right? So you've got to have something like a D8L in there to be able to rip it up and rip the rocks out of the ground to loosen them enough to move.
That's right, so we just wreck a small tractor.
Is that right? So big gear and plenty of traction. something that doesn't stop when it hits something solid is the ideal thing. Coming out of the bush again, out of the area to be cleared, and down below us are the flats going south towards Wanganui, and over this way is the current railway line, bush, and in the background is Ohakune, where the deviation stops. This is the viaduct that's going to be redundant with a new railway line. Well, this is not only easy going on anyone's language. This is where the D8 excels, ripping out these enormous rocks. Right down to the toolbar in depth. Just listen to this crunching of rocks in here. Well, it's in this sort of country that the D8 was now just before 6 o'clock in the morning of 16th of December, and we're back at the Hayes and Eastwood site, and we can hear the birds in the Tongariro National Park singing away, and it won't be very long before the machines of the Hayes and Eastwood construction and earth moving will be underway for yet another 12-hour day of hard work. We're now looking at the D5B, the swamp tractor. Gear drive model, this one, getting quite old for a Hayes and Eastwood fleet, but nevertheless, being Caterpillar, she still does a very good job pushing all this stumps and old foliage down into the dump to cover it up. And up here we've got Horopito driving it. Gear drive machine nowadays. Look at that load she's pushing. And Gavin Hayes discussing the plan of action from here on in. Gavin Hayes, John Hayes' son, Ohakune. And site foreman Keith Barnes comes up just to check and make sure that everyone's working in the same direction. Bit of a team job, this one. the Cat 215 long carriage model with Gavin Hayes at the helm, and the idea here is to put all this foliage in and just pack it down, tidy the whole area up. Loose up and around, a bit from the other side. You can see down here it's quite a nice tidy job. Skill in operating these diggers. All hands, all feet have got to be working. Almost like a slow tap dance inside there. Operator of the Cat 215. Well, we can see how the teamwork is done, because here's Darryl Coley bringing the D5 blade full up with the vegetation, and he's pushing it right in alongside Gavin on the 215 digger here to get it spread out and tied it up. Big log, put that one to one side, and it'll help consolidate the banks a bit. Just like combing it out like a bit of scraggly hair. Well, that's where four-wheel drive pivot steer makes a difference. That D25C just back right up through that swamp there into the pile there, and you can see the ruts it digs. Just comes clear out, no problem. Those ruts would be 18 inches, 2 feet deep. And we've got John State on this D25C. And while the work goes on, the New Zealand Railways continue their work. And over in the background here you can see the diggers and dump trucks loading up the topsoil or the vegetation, whichever, and bring it back over towards the dump that the D5 and D6 and the 215B are working on. got Mike Fitzgerald bringing the D25B right back in here to drop off some vegetation. I got Irishman Jimmy Gray backing up the D25B. You can see how soft the soil is here, just how much it digs right down into those ruts. So we need the four-wheel drive to make this sort of a job possible. So vegetation all up she goes. Very quick, clean tip. By contrast, here's the fill dirt, pretty clear of any vegetation. John's tipping it out. He's backed quite a long way back in here on the soft ground. So Brian Burden can now move back in and move it on with the D16. Now Brian and John have teamed up to a double push. All those topsoil along together, and boy are they moving a bit of dirt this time. This needs good operators and good machines, good teamwork to do this sort of work. Pretty soft sort of stuff in there. D25 having a bit of a wrestle with that one.